When you build a bike, it's never about one little thing, it's always about the whole entire thing. Every little piece that you put on the bike creates the whole picture. You know, that's always the goal with a bike, to have the flow. If a bike doesn't have flow and one thing sticks out more than everything else, to me, it's not how it's supposed to be. I'm Steve with Speed King Cycle in Riverside, California. This year, I'm gonna build this 2022 freewheeler for Born Free 13. It either, to me, like needs to look factory or it needs to look completely modified. The whole concept of the bike is just in my head and I can just kind of visualize it. And that's how I really have done every bike I've done. I don't have formal training on this, I just learned. Having a bike that we're building for Harley Davidson and being recognized as a bike builder has kind of always been a dream of mine. You know, performance and looks kind of for me is hand in hand. We're gonna make our own custom wheels for the bike. We're gonna add an FXR T-fairing and lowers to kind of give it a nice fairing, and you know, we'll end up doing bars, risers. One of our first things to the rear end is we're gonna do some different fenders on here. As you can see, we got some fenders over there. We're gonna mock those up and cut them up and form them the way we want them. We like a lot more flow, a little bit more coverage on the rear tire. We'll see how that goes. Maybe it's gonna shoot flames, we don't know yet. You know, it's really nice to collaborate with somebody like Valley Kustoms because we think the same. So it's very simple. I'll be like, oh, I'm thinking around this color and this is kind of my idea and we wanted to do flames. Maybe I'll give them a couple images I found from hot rods or whatever. Here's what I'm thinking, but you do you at the end of the day because it's your artwork, it's your paint, and you know, I trust him 100%. So my idea behind the air suspension was to create a trike that we could lower down a little bit. The whole front end is actually a cartridge kit, so it's a little bit more performance orientated. There's definitely some custom pieces on this bike that we made and you know, nobody's ever seen before. My goal when I do a bike, especially a bike that's not on the norm, is to put a bike out that makes people want to ride it. I mean, it's kind of like a real life Hot Wheel. I'm not so sure that people are out there really customizing trikes. I definitely challenge people to do it. It's pretty fun, and I think they should be doing it. We're out here at Oak Canyon Park for Born Free 13. So on this bike, we threw a Screaming Eagle 465 cam in it. We did a S&S 55mm throttle body and an S&S intake, along with the Bassani 2-into-2 exhaust system. I wanted to go with like a old school kind of hot rod style wheel. We did a different front fender. You'll see we have Baja Design headlights. And we actually moved the gauges all up to our riser section. So these are our Speed King's Aniston risers with a one-off custom gauge cluster as well as a PSI gauge for the air ride suspension. Have our own prototype of our own floorboard on this bike. The Saddlemen made us a custom one-off step-up seat. Gets that feel of what we were looking for as far as performance goes. I've got a lot of good feedback from customers, from people on the internet, from actual builders. It's been really cool. You know, I've had builders that have been building bikes for 30 years or so reach out to me and say, that thing is cool. So, you know, for me, it really hits home at heart. I'm pretty just beyond stoked with the whole thing. It was a fun project to do and it was a very awesome experience.